Well, hi everybody. It's been a great year so far for kayaking. This year we did probably close to 600 miles in the kayak. I bought this kayak new for me earlier this year. It's a Kevlar Sport by Nimbus, year 2005. It's in Kevlar. It's a great kayak. It's got a lot of storage. Put a lot of use onto it, and unfortunately a lot of abuse happened too. Our last trip resulted in quite a bit of damage to this particular kayak. I'll give you a little closer look here so you can see. So you can see on the inside we have quite a few cracks. You can see a full crack here, and if you look over here you can see some cracks here. And a few more cracks up here, and this spot here completely delaminated the resin off the Kevlar. And what happened with that was, if you look on this side, you can see that the bracing and the seat hold actually cracked loose on the last impact and fell right off. So I pulled that off to repair. And now I'll have a look at the underside. See, the damage is a little bit more obvious. So what I have done already, just to get clear to it and see how bad the damage was give it a quick sanding. Taped it off. You can see the tape marks. You can actually sand with 3M auto tape to give yourself a real good indication of where you want to go with this. And because it's Kevlar, you got to be really, really careful when you're sanding, not to go too far into the resin, because if you burr this up, it just won't hold, the resin won't hold as good as if it's not burred up. So it's really quite important that you don't go too far. So I use 220 grit to go here just to see how far the cracks were. I will do a little bit more later. You can see now where it all is and where it all ends. Some spiral cracks here. So now the first step and the hardest step, I think, is to match up the gel coat for the new work once we get there. I will be reinforcing the inside, the outside with fiberglass. I will be using polyester resin. The kayak's built with vinyl ester resin. The differences between vinyl and polyester: vinyl is got a little bit more resistance to wear and water. It lasts quite a bit longer. It cures harder. Polyester is just almost as good. It's cheaper. It works just as well. And I do so many repairs on my kayak that it's not going to matter for longevity, because I just do a lot of damage to my kayaks, which it's just the nature of the beast. So I've been waiting for a nice day, because it's better if you're doing gel coat matching in sunlight, natural light. And so I got out here. We have a bit of a window in the rain here, so I'll get started on that. The first things I'll show you I have here is my pigments. I have black, brown, red, and yellow, and I have my gel coats, which is white. And this is an old, a little bit left that I had from the last job when I did the keel strip and did a color matching. And this is just white, and it's all waxed gel coat. I got my tongueless presses for mixing, and got this for a stir stick. And I have the laptop. I took a picture of the gel coat. Then I take the picture and I put it into something like Photoshop or GIMP, and look at the color and just look at the spectrum, and I'll show you that in a second. Just to see exactly what kind of colors you want to work with. This particular kayak, it's not white. I mean, it might look white, but it's not. It's actually quite a bit dark gray. So there's a little bit of work. And in this case, I use a lot of black, brown, and yellow to get there. And I'll show you step by step. It's a slow process, but it's well worth the work to get it right. So what I'll do is I'll pull up the photo on GIMP, and we will look at what the colors look like, and we'll see, and we'll start from there. Okay, so now I've got the color inside of a GIMP. I took a picture and I've pulled it up, and you can see now how it kind of looks And you can get a kind of a look of where your spectrums are when you're picking your colors and how you're going to match things. So that it's kind of nice, and you're going to have to go by eye here, because unfortunately a lot of people, you're not going to be able to get anybody to do these color matchings for you. You won't be able to take it to a shop to get this done. It's not like regular paint, gel coats, its own little beast. So you'll have to do this yourself, and it's not too hard. You can get pretty close. You can match it perfectly if you want. The trick is to go very, very little with the colors. I'll show you how I do that. But I'll give you the first, we'll do a first sample of what it looks like, the raw white against the hull, and we'll start working from there. So the first thing, make sure you've got your gloves, because this stuff is quite toxic. We're outside in open air. If I was in an enclosed space, I would absolutely be wearing a respirator. That was made for chemicals. But I'm not laying anything down, I'm not curing anything today. So we've got lots of wind here. I can work on this fairly safely here without any need for a mask just now. And we'll start. There you can see just how white that is against the deck. So you can see how far we're going to have to take this, quite a ways. And so I will start doing that slowly, and I will be adding the pigments slowly, and you can watch as I do this. And for mixing, what I use is just a chopsticks spread apart. It's a good mixing tool. Not much black, but definitely enough for this. So I've got my different sticks for each color. I'll grab some more paper towel. All right, so I think we have it. You can see where we started. Way up there, the white. And as you can see, we went across. Slowly adding the black, brown, and yellow. Towards the end, it looked like more yellow was what the trick was. But as you can see towards the end, it just looks wet, but there's not much change in the color if you look here. And how I can tell, again, is grab a little bit of this and spread it out. And you can see, we go here, for example, you can see it gets wet, but I can't see too much in terms of color difference. I mean, it's not 100% perfect, but it's really good. And if I go any further with the eye, I think I might overshoot it at this point and miss it, and then it'll be quite noticeable, whereas this, for an amateur, is quite acceptable. And I am by no means a professional at this. This is about the 4th time I've done this. So next step is going to be clean this up, obviously. The great thing is there's no MAKP catalyst in there, so just acetone will wipe that right off the hull. It's cold out. It's the beginning of November, so we're below 5 degrees Celsius, and you can't really lay down resin with that temperature, so I'll be showing you guys a trick on how to do that under the carport with some tarps, a buddy heater, and we'll make it work, because I need to get this up and running for trips this winter, because I do paddle year round. I do have spare kayaks, luckily, and that's what keeps me going, but I do want to get this repaired. So the first step is done, gel coat is done. I'm going to be laying fiberglass over the Kevlar, because it sands better. Kevlar does not sand well for patching. I'll be patching both sides. I'll be using resin without wax, and then I'll put the gel coat on in the end, and I'll show you everybody how to do that. Up next, I will put some tape back on the hull, do a little bit more sanding, and start to lay resin and fiberglass on both inside and outside, and we'll go from there. All right. So we have the kayak under the carport. And I was thinking, because the temperature is so cold out, and I was speaking before about using a buddy heater, and we have chemicals that are quite flammable, I thought that might not be a great idea. As you can see, it's about 7 degrees Celsius or so. So that's actually pretty good. What I've done is I put an oil heater, plug-in oil heater underneath, and I've had this on for a while, and it's actually warmed up really nice, and the top has got warmed, and just to dry this out before I tape everything down. And let's just put that on there right now. I bet you could watch that rise pretty quickly. Just see in a second, but I bet you that goes above to close to 20 plus degrees. So I'm going to tape this up. I've already done all the sanding I need to do. I'm going to wipe it down with acetone first, of course, tape it up, and then we'll go from there with starting to lay the resin. Over here I'll show you what I have. I have, for the tape, it's 3M Auto. It's really good. It sands, you can sand this really hard, and it doesn't wear off, so it's quite nice. Gloves, the fiberglass resin, the polyester resin, the catalyst, brush, a plastic for just pushing down on the inside of the kayak when I patch it up against the that piece of Kevlar that was exposed completely. I want to really make sure it gets saturated nicely. I've got my 2-inch fiberglass weave. I use this for keel strips, repairs, everything. It's really, really good. I got this at Fibertech, same place. It's one side, it does have an edge because it's sewed, so it sits higher, so when you're done and it's all cured, you do have to sand this if you want a nice perfect finish on the gel coat on the outside. On the inside it doesn't matter. I'll give it just a quick sand just to make sure there's no burrs, but it's aesthetics on the inside. Don't need to be worried about too much. Of course, stir stick, the container, and acetone for all the cleanup. So when I tape this, what I do is I will bring the tape just inside of where I sanded, not on the outside of the shiny, because what happens is if you try to layer resin down on the area that wasn't sanded, it's not rough, it's smooth, and it'll peel and back, and it's a little bit harder to get a good finish. So I'll start it on the inside a little bit, and then when we go to the gel coat, I'll go a little closer, and then it'll give me a really good smooth finish in between. But I will be doing sanding in between too, and that's fine with just the non-waxed resin works just fine for sanding. So first thing is to wipe it down, and then I will tape it up, and I will show you guys the next step. Okay, so we have everything taped off. I went ahead and cut the fiberglass to size. So I'll show you what I'm going to do first on the inside, and I'll show you on the outside. I've taped off everything here, and you can see. So this spot here got really delaminated off of the Kevlar. So I'm going to put this small in here. I'm going to put these two over top to cover that whole crack. This one here is going to go on that crack there, and then on the inside here you can see really good with the light. I'll be putting that one over here, a crack like that. So let me get this in order and out of the way. Okay. On the other side here, it's the same thing. I have the pieces set up. I will go for it. I'm going to mix the resin. I will show you how I'm going to do all that. I'll try to do step by step for you guys, for everyone. And we'll see how it goes. So I have everything mixed up. I've got the resin and the catalyst mixed up. I went with, you look in the instructions here, it says where the temperature rating is. And so because it's below 10 degrees Celsius, 20 drops per ounce, or 20 mils per liter. So I did the 20 drops per ounce. I had 5 ounces, so that's 100 drops. So I added that, and we'll have that a 2-hour cure, but we'll have the heater and we'll see what happens with that. Got the fiberglass, I got everything ready, and you can watch what I'm going to do, and I'll sort of explain it as I go along. So the first thing I'm going to do is just wet out this area, and we'll start working with the fiberglass right away. Don't need much. I'll put this on real quick. Luckily it's good here. Okay. Here. And a nice one with the gloves, you can just tap it down, smooth it out. I'll show you when I'm all done. It looks like on the inside and the outside. I'm just going to move quick. These ones. Put the right ones in there. Yeah, okay, these are the right ones. I'm going 2 layers on this side, because there's that huge hole that was inside of the where we delaminated from the carbon fiber, so I'm adding 2 layers. I'll saturate this up a little bit in a minute. I'll let this out quickly. Now everything is sticky, so it just is the nature now. As long as I don't touch it myself. Okay. You just tap. You just tap it. You gotta be careful because the edges of the glass are open after you cut them, so they fray really easy, which isn't a big deal at the end, because you can just sand it clean. It's not a big deal. And of course, once I got this off, once we're all done here, I'll take the tape off quickly. I won't wait too long to take the tape off. So last spot on the inside here. Very good. Here's what we're working with. This one goes here. This one goes there. And that one goes there. These two. One will go here. One will go there. It's the bigger one, and this is. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's do that now. And you can see the edges are frayed, so you've got to be careful. So let's go with this one. The seam on this side right here. No seam there. No seam there. You can tap that around and adjust it up. That shouldn't be a problem. Do one more piece. Just tap, tap, tap. And we're going to sand this all down before we lay the gel coat. And that'll be in the next day or so, depending on how this cures. We won't do that today. I like, even especially in this temperature, I will not want. I guess I want to make sure it's a good hard cure. That's great. So I will be able to see closer as I do this. Really smooth, make sure it feels really smooth. So the better it is now, the better the resin will lay, or the gel coat will lay on top of everything. This looks really good. Okay, I think we're good. Take it to the other side. Let's see how it looks. I'm trying not to touch anything. Yeah, and you can see this side is fine. And so it's not dripping at all. This side is not dripping at all. What I will do, let's take a look so you can see what I did. I've got the resin in, nice and thick. Got the fiberglass laid down. I got 2 layers of fiberglass here. And up top, I'm going to grab this next. There's another spot up here. You can see. And I'm going to do that next. But otherwise, I'm just going to let it sit a bit. And then I'm going to take the tape off. And we'll let it cure. And we'll see what happens from there. Okay, so we've got it all sanded down. I taped it up, I sanded it down. I had to go through a lot of sandpaper, but the end result is it's feathered perfectly, it's super smooth, and it is ready now for the gel coat. So I've done also the inside too. So what I've done now is I've retaped it, making sure to have the tape definitely on the area that was sanded and not on the glossy part. Make sure you overlap, because when you do lay the gel coat and you start sanding and feathering down to the edge, I won't have any tape on the final sanding, and I will be doing hand sanding for this part, because it's so easy to wear the gel coat off with a power sander and go right back through, and then you just have to add more, and it's just such a waste of time. So I'll do hand sanding. I will start at 220, 400, 800, 1000, and then finally wet sand with 2000 is for the final polish. But for now, what I will do is get everything going, get the gel coat. I've got it all set up here. It was inside, it's nice and warm. The stuff we color matched before, I'm gonna mix up probably about an ounce at a time. I don't want to go more than that, just because this is going to be on angles, and I don't want the gel coat to run. So I'm going to do each individual piece individually, and luckily I just have to wait for it to set. And I have the heater under here again, and as you can see, we're sitting at 15 degrees Celsius and rising on the outside of the hull here, so that's perfect, and I can feel it. Like the hull here is easily 25 degrees, nice and warm, so it'll cure real quick, and I'll be able to move faster than my gel coat hardens and cures on the outside with a regular temperature. So I have a 2-hour cure time away from the kayak, but once I hit this one, the warmth, it'll take 15 minutes to gel up, and then I just can keep moving. So that's the plan. Both sides are done. Everything is happy. So now it's time to lay the gel coat. I will use a fairly good brush. I don't have an airbrush, obviously, so I'm going to use a high quality brush for this. I'm going to go very, very, very thin, just coated, not thick like I did with the gel or with the resin. And the idea is not to play with it too much. Just get a coat on there and let it just get smooth, and then we'll hand smooth it all out and get it perfect. So that's the plan right now. Okay, we're all done. So I have everything gelled up, took the tape off, did 2 batches. It's a little wavy, but that can be easily fixed with some sanding. And I'm going to be sanding this by hand. As you can see, no drips of any kind. We're looking good. The color is pretty much bang on. It's hard to even see the patch with the camera, but it is there. So this is turning out really well. Have a look on this side. And again, on this side you can see it's hard to see the patch, but it is there now. So we'll let this cure up for a few hours, and it's ready for its final sanding. And I will show you how that's done. And I'm going to go from 180 to 220 to 400 to 800 to 1000, and then finally wet sand with 2000 and a polish, and maybe a wax at the end. We'll see how the temperature goes. But yeah, and we'll do a time lapse with that work. All right, so I finished all the sanding. I went from 180 to 220, 400 to 800, then switched to wet sanding with the garden hose on 1,800 for a little bit, and then 1,000, and then finally 2,000. So it's all polished up. Everything is all sanded up. And it looks pretty good. I've got a bit of, there's a bit of color difference, slightly. It's conceded, and there's a few spots I sanded a bit hard and burned through the gel coat that I laid down and went back to the fiberglass and Kevlar. So I had to repeat a couple steps. I had to repeat a little bit of gel coat again, just to to touch up those spots and sand it back down. But other than that, it wasn't that bad. I also had a crack that reappeared right here. It was a crack, and what had happened was I had forgotten to fiberglass the inside on that one spot. I missed a small crack, and so once I tested everything out, because you should test it, you should give give everything a good flex after, because it shouldn't crack. The gel coat shouldn't crack at all once you have everything done on both sides. So I fixed that up, redid it this morning, laid down some more resin, some fiberglass on the inside, reapplied the gel coat on the inside, dried it, sanded it down, gave it the flex test, and everything was fine, plus the patches, and we were good to go. So lessons learned. I think if I was to do this again, I'd probably use larger pieces of fiberglass. The 2-inch strips I had weren't they work okay for all sorts of things, but I would have probably, if I was going to go and buy some, I would have probably bought a slightly larger square patch, just to make this job a little bit easier, and maybe put it across a larger area rather than the 2-inch strips. But at the end of the day, it worked, and it's what I had on hand, so I didn't need to go and buy anything. But that would be the lesson learned for sure. Definitely go easy on the hand sanding. You don't want to burn through the gel that you put down. It's frustrating when you burn through it, because it's another couple hours to lay down gel, let it cure, and then resand carefully. So always err on the side of caution when sanding, and definitely go by hand at the end. So yeah, if everybody likes this video, I'll probably do another one where I will lay a keel strip. I have a double kayak that I haven't put my keel strip on yet, and I'll do that, and I'll explain how that's done, as well as why I leave it rough and don't smooth it down, all the other things. So stay tuned for that. And I think this video on how to do gel coat repairs and to do structural repairs. And if you like this, click on like. If you like the channel, join it, subscribe to this channel, and we have lots more to come.